Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Witchwood. Hey guys. So, new expansion for Hearthstone's coming out, and it's called the Witchwood, and I love it. I love the concept of it. My favorite plane in Magic the Gathering is Innistrad, simply because I love the whole melding of all these various different gothic horror elements all together, and the Witchwood looks very similar to that, and I just love it. But we're not here to talk about my love for the setting. We're here to talk about the mechanics of the new expansion, which they have shown off to us, and I am going to go through and discuss and give my thoughts and opinions about the new mechanics. Hopefully you enjoy. First up, we have Baku and Gen. Baku the Moon Eater is a 9-mana, 7/8 legendary minion. At the start of your game, if your deck has only odd-cost cards, upgrade your hero power. For those of you who never played through the Grand Tournament and never dealt with Justicar Trueheart or Justicar's Ring in the Kobolds and Catacombs expansion, actually, Justicar's Ring kind of melds these two guys together, but whatever. Upgrading your hero power is basically just doubling the effect, with a few exceptions. The shamans, for example, get to pick what totem they summon instead of summoning 2 or something. Hunters deal only 3 damage to the enemy hero, not 4. Thank God. Or else every hunter would have run Justicar. Holy shit. And warlocks, instead of taking 2 damage and draw a card, they just draw a card for 2 mana, which is awesome. In fact, I totally foresee plenty of warlocks running Baku. Gen Greymane, on the other hand, is a 6-mana, 6/5 with start of game. If your deck has only even cost cards, your starting hero power costs 1. And it does say your starting hero power. I don't know, like, if you change that by shifting into a Death Knight, if that goes away. There are precious few Death Knights that would actually work with that, like Deathstalker Rexar, and Blood Reaver Gul'dan, ironically. Warlocks again. But these are the deck building cards, like the deck building restrictions of the set. I like the idea behind them. The whole fact of you have to use cards that are certain mana costs, but you can use multiples of them. You know, it's very different from the Highlander ones that we've had before, and also from the Hunters no minions cards that we've seen in Kobolds and Catacombs. I don't know exactly how much use they'll be, but it is nice that it is very nice, and in fact probably essential to the fact that it's essential to these cards that the payoff comes as soon as you start the game. It's just great that you don't even have to play these, which is great in the case of Baku especially. You don't need to play that 9-mana card to get your upgraded hero power. No, you just start with it. Similarly, Gen, you just immediately get the cost reduction. You don't need to get to 6 mana. You don't need to play it. You just need to satisfy the conditions and have Gen in your deck, and done. So anyway, and also I think let me look here. I think that might be Gen. No, he's got a crossbow. That's not Gen. Gen uses pistols. He's sword and pistol. He's like that. That's not Gen in the artwork. I thought it was him. Anyway, it's the coat. The coat's throwing me off, man. Anyway, so yeah, start of the game, you get the payoff. That's great. And I think Gen actually may be a bit more useful, simply because if you are using all even cost cards, you'll always have, on your odd numbered turns, you'll always have 1 mana floating. So he might actually be pretty useful. Anyway, moving on from those two, we have the Echo mechanic. What Echo is when you play a card that has Echo, you get a copy of it in your hand. And if you have the mana, you can play the copy. And that copy will give you another copy, and so on and so forth. Problem is, once you end your turn, the copies go away. So you can only play them essentially for 1 turn, but you can play as many on that 1 turn as you have the mana for. In the case of this specific card, I'm not sure how good it'll be. It's 2/4 for 3 with taunt. I'm not sure. Maybe it'll be best for like 6 mana, where you can play 2 of them, and your opponent might have difficulty dealing with them both. It's kind of like a little spreading plague almost, but I don't know. I really don't know. I just feel like maybe in terms of Echo, this is not the best one they could have shown us. It certainly does show off the mechanics very well. You know, yeah, they're Phantom Militia, and the more mana you have, the more Phantoms you can pull out, I guess. I just hope that we see more that are maybe a bit more, or maybe a bit tastier, you know? I'm not sure how much a 2/4 is really gonna, how multiple 2/4s for 3 is really gonna help you in the later turns. If you top deck this and like both of you are top decking and you pull this is gonna be great, but I don't know. I don't know. This is one of the ones I'm confused on. I'm confused on a couple of these, but this is one of them. Next, we move on to what I am calling the flip cards of the expansion. And I call them flip because they transform, as you can see in the artwork, and in the Innistrad sets, there are many werewolves that do just that over in Magic. They flip. They literally are printed on both sides, and you flip them. Here we have Pumpkin Peasant, Lifesteal. Each turn this is in your hand, swap his attack and health. That's why I call it a flip card. 2 attack and 4 health, or 4 attack and 2 health. So you can either have a life-stealing Leok or a life-stealing Huffer. Take your pick. Although without the charge or the buffs that made them really cool. I like this idea of having cards that swap their stats. It's a lot of fun, and it allows you to react to different situations. You know, maybe you need this guy as a 2/4 because your opponent is playing aggro paladin, and he's got a ton of 1/1s on the board, and you just want something that can eat the 1/1s and also give you some health back, because that lifesteal is very nice. Or maybe you want to be more aggressive. Maybe you want to be the beatdown, and you want the 4/2 instead. So you just hold on to it for a turn, and then bam, werewolf with pumpkins. That sounded a lot more badass in my head. Anyway, and it's nice to be able to have, like, if you suddenly realize that you are not the beatdown deck of the match, if you are not the aggressive deck, you can just swap back to being the human with pumpkins. And he looks rather nice. I assume it's a he. He's got a bit of a beard there going on. I just assumed his gender. I'm sorry. Anyway. It's nice to have this to be able to react to the changing board, and I really hope that the next few minions we see with this mechanic have kind of this disparity in stats. If it's like a 3/4 with whatever, then it doesn't really feel like much when it flips. But if it's something like a 2/4, or even like a 2/5, or 2/6 even, you know, bigger number between the stats, it's going to feel really cool when it flips and you play it the proper way. You know, when you play it in a good situation. A 6/2, oh yeah, that'll be good, especially if you are the beatdown. So yeah, I like flip. I want to see more of it. Next, we have the rush mechanic, and I feel like they showed us one of the best. So what is rush? Well, in order to tell you about rush, I need to tell you about charge, and charge has been a problem. A massive problem. I won't get into the details, but charge has ended games way too many times. Charge is simply, they can attack the turn they're played. Awesome. But the problem with that is that charge can attack anything, including the hero. And it's not like, it's very similar to haste in Magic, but the problem with, the thing with haste over in Magic is that you have minions or creatures that you can block with. You can designate a blocker, and you can just have like a little 1/1 eat the attack for you. In Hearthstone, your opponent chooses his targets, so you can't have that little 1/1 unless it has taunt eat the charge for you. And if your opponent has any sense whatsoever, they're going to get rid of that taunt before they play the charge minion. You know, they're not just going to walk right into it. And they tried changing things with the Charge Devilsaur in Journey to Ungoro, which was a 7/7 for 8 mana with Charge, and Battlecry can't attack heroes this turn. They were trying to make it so they were trying to basically make Rush. But the thing is that there were a lot of ways to cheat Charge Devilsaur into the battlefield and not get the Battlecry, because the Battlecry only happens when you play it from your hand. So, how do they fix it? Change Charge. Rush is charge, but Rush doesn't allow you to attack heroes on the turn you're played, only minions. So now that it's a part of the charge mechanic, you can't cheat around it by, say, playing it from your deck or just summoning it from some spell effect. That being said, Militia Commander itself, I really like. The battle cry of gain +3 attack this turn makes it a 4-mana 5/5 rush. And that basically means it is 4-mana removal for warriors, which is really cool. Kokron Elite has actually honestly been used. Kokron Elite is a 4-mana 4/3 with charge, and I see it used as removal by warriors way more than I see it being used to attack heroes. It's kind of funny like that. This is going to be like that. This is, depending on the situation, this either trades up with a much more powerful and much higher costing minion, or it eats something your opponent has, and then it sticks around as a 2-attack minion. It's not bad. I like it. I think this is going to get played a lot, actually. I think Militia Commander, if there is a warrior deck, especially an aggro warrior deck, I feel like this guy is, or gal, I think this is a girl, I think the Militia Commander is going to be in a lot of warrior decks, because it is really good. I love it. Finally, we come to the final card of the new mechanics, and probably the card I'm the most confused and probably the most down on. Azalina's Soul Thief. Battle Cry. Replace your hand with a copy of your opponent's. 7 mana, 3 attack, 3 health. You can see where my problems are. Originally, I thought this was swap your hand with your opponent's, or steal all the cards in your opponent's hand and add them to yours. But no, this is replace your hand with a copy of your opponent's. Now, if I top deck this and I only have Azalina in my hand, I'm probably going to love this, because even if my opponent only has like 3 cards, that's more than what I had coming into this. But I feel like it's a lot easier to kind of think about the best case scenario. A lot of times, I feel like this is just going to sit in your hand, because by the time you've played out your hand and you want to play this, your opponent is either close to the end of the game anyway, or your opponent has a way better position, and when you play Azalina, you're only going to have 3 mana to use the cards that you just stole from your opponent. And this is not something that you play and then, oh, you can wait a turn on this. No, like, yeah, okay, you can maybe have played out your hand by turn 7, especially if you're playing like aggro or something, but if you're playing aggro, I don't think you're planning to get to turn 7, not anytime soon. I don't know. I know that this is going to have like a best of video made out of it, because this is just one of those cards that just screams highlight reel. There's going to be plenty of times where, like, you play this and, your opponent had like 7 cards in hand and there was like just the thing you needed to survive and it somehow cost less than 3 mana, but still, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I feel like in a large majority of the games, outside of that highlight reel, this is just going to be a rock sitting in your hand and not doing anything. It feels, okay, it feels a lot to me, basically just 7 mana, do nothing. That's basically what this feels like to me. And maybe I'm just being really harsh on this. I accept that I'm being very harsh. But I like being harsh on this one. I like being down. Azalina Soul Thief doesn't impress. Although I'll probably play with it anyway. So that's it for the new cards in the set. The music, in case you're wondering, is, I believe, called the Abandoned by Peter B. Helland. I'll have a link to the video I actually used in the description. I will also have a link to the page with all of the cards and all the mechanics on it. Feel free to comment in below and tell me what you think I'm right about, what you think I'm wrong about. Call me an idiot, call me an asshole, call me all those wonderful words. Tell me what you think, and I'll see you later.